talking about giving for living. Now, how did you start this? What prompted it? What was the trigger? What happened?
People are first human beings before tribe. I've always believed that if somebody is hungry, I wouldn't say, no, he looks Hausa, I'm not going to give him, I'll give to my Igbo brother. Because, like I told you, when you cut someone open, the same thing you see inside him is what I will see inside myself. So first treat people like humans before. But I think what stirred up the fire more with the giving thing for me was last year I came into the country. From the airport, I was going to my house and in traffic, our Lagos traffic, and I saw this man in his 60s. I could guess because he looked like my dad, you know, and so he was selling ice cream. He was trying to chase this car to sell to them, but he's old, you know. I don't know. I think he missed his step. He tripped and fell, and a car from behind, a bus, took him, you know, and killed him on the spot. He died right in front of me. Blood was on the road. His ice cream was on top of his blood. It was a horrible thing to see. And what got to me was the wife and the kids of this man are at home waiting for daddy to bring money for food. You know, but he's gone. You know, and I couldn't sleep that night. The first question I asked was, what is he even doing on the road? And it's not like he had a better choice. He needs to make ends meet. He needs to feed. He needs to, you know. So I woke up the next morning. I was driving, and this guy also, old guy, trying to sell Christmas lights. I just needed him off the road. I said, how much is everything you're selling? He told me that I just gave him. I didn't even have naira. I gave him dollars. I said, go home. Just don't be here, because the thing I saw the previous day. And I looked, there were a lot of them, you know. And I said, I just helped one person. And this is when most people started the whole criticism. But here's what I say to myself. Whenever I'm doing something and I'm at peace with myself, you know, that is all that matters. When I search myself and I know I'm not doing this for any social recognition, I know that this is what my spirit wants to do. Because people will obviously talk, even if you do if you get everything right. So what I said, I can just give this one person, and he will be the only person to benefit from it. But you see, I have 1 million followers on Instagram. If I can give him and post it and encourage people to give, if 10% of my followers decide to do the same, that means they are reaching out to 100,000 people. So for me, it was a strategy to reach as much people, and I believe this is why the platform is given to us, to use it and, you know, cause change and in a positive way and all that. So I started doing it, and every morning I wake up, the passion kept on growing. It was so bad that my driver thought I've gone crazy, because I would go to the bank, I would pack money literally, and I would go into the streets, which was what went viral that period. And I was getting everybody off the street. And it was amazing what gets someone off the street. It's money we use for lunch that can put a boy in school for 5 years. And I was like, why don't we do this? Why don't we, you know, 95% of the time when people wake up is what they'll go and get. Why don't we turn that around and let it be what we're going to give? You won't have criminals on the road. There are certain things we deal with. You know, and you ask the question where people say, maybe this plantain boy is trying to cheat me. I ask this question, what if you're in his shoes? What would be your prayer? If a banana woman tells you, Oga, is 1,000, don't tell her, madam, it's 400. If you're in her position, she probably has kids. You might call it cheating. That is the mindset we have. But think about it. That is how she feeds her family. So probably her gain is 300 naira, and you're still trying to bring that thing down so that she'll make what, 50 naira and go home, when you know you can easily give her that money without thinking twice. So I'm trying as much as I can to cause what I call a paradigm shift, you know, because the truth of the matter is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. When they begin to see that, you know, you really care about them, you know, that is when the essence of life, becomes a reality to you. You wake up even though you don't have much, but you are fulfilled, knowing that somebody is in school because of you, or somebody has paid his hospital bills because of you. Just those little acts of kindness can make the world a beautiful place.
Well, on a daily basis, we reach maybe about 5 million people. Let's now use this opportunity. There's 1 million people listening to this show right now. Let's use this opportunity to give out a call to action. If you had your 1 million, the 5 million people that I reach, and the 1 million people that are listening to this radio show each day, that's 7 million people.
Yes.
William, I want you to imagine that there's 7 million people that are listening right now. And we can tweet a message to 7 million people. We can activate 7 million people now. What is your call to action? What do you want to say to these 7 million people?
Sometimes we think that it only takes that one person has to do the job. That is why when you see people in Nigeria, they always point to the government, to this particular person. We are not disputing the fact that there is a lot of things going on with our system, but you see, if we can just for once, ignore what the government is not doing right and focus on what we can do. Imagine that big man right now that is in his mansion, and there is a poor guy right on your street that whenever you pass with your G-Wagon, you pass him. Imagine if you're reaching out to him. So for me, 7 million, at least each of those people know at least 10 people, because you stopped at 7, but you see it keeps multiplying. The post I put on Facebook, that post you saw, I went to my insights and it got to 8.5 million people. People kept on sharing. And I saw a lady on the street talking to this young boy. And when I stopped, because I guessed, because it was the same thing she was doing, she saw me and she was screaming. She was like, I'm doing this because of that video I saw. So imagine if people, for me, what I would say to them right now is, it can only start with one person, and the fire would just like California fire, it starts from one place and it begins to spread, and if it's not controlled, it takes over the whole city. And now that this fire has started, and people are beautiful, every soul is a beautiful soul, right? It's because of the circumstances around us that make us think that people are horrible. A criminal still has compassion if you find his soft spots. So we have to learn to go back to first being humans, to go back to what this life is truly about, because you won't really enjoy life if you've not started helping someone else live. It's when you become selfless. That is why we celebrate the Gandhis, we celebrate the Martin Luther, these are people that live the selfless life, not for themselves but for people. But here is the beautiful part of this: while you're living trying to help other people, your own life becomes beautiful. It's a mystery I'm yet to understand. You find out you won't lack anything. You find out that things are just, you just be at peace with yourself, because that is the instruction, where you should try as much as you can to have a selfless life. And when you do that, I can't even imagine the benefits. I know what I'm talking about now. If I wake up and all I have in my pocket is 1,000 naira, I don't spend it on myself. I give it out. Because the mystery to that as well is when you give out your last money, it multiplies. I can't explain how these things happen, but it just happens. And I believe for the fact that it happens this way, it means that this is what we should do. So I'm making this call to this 7 million and more to just try it. And don't just do it because of what you want to get. Do it because if you were in their shoes, if you were homeless, or how would you feel? If you wouldn't like what you think about, then help someone else get off the street.
This is so powerful, It reminds me of the story of an old man kept on picking up a shellfish, 1, throw it back into the ocean. Pick up a shellfish, throw it back into the ocean. So this little 6-year-old boy watched this old man do this for hours. And then the little boy walks up to the old man and says to the old man, "Old man, why are you wasting your time? Look at all the shellfish on the shore. Why are you wasting your time picking up one by one and throwing them back? Certainly, you're not able to help every one of these shellfish." Guess what the old man said to the little boy? He said, "For this one shellfish, it means the whole world to it. And so I'd rather save that one shellfish so that that one shellfish can live." And that's the philosophy that you're living your life by. Now, this is so incredible because giving is living. And it's important that you recognize that you will not release the goodwill that is inherent in your giving if you are giving to get. Check this out. Never give because of what you want. Give because you love. Give because you care. Give because, you know what? You want to do good for that day. Now, the mystery of it is that whatsoever you sow, you will reap. Every religion teaches that fundamental law and principle. Some call it the law of karma. Some call it the law of sowing and reaping. Some call it the law of seed and harvest. Some call it the law of giving and receiving. But the proviso and the key is not to give because you want to get. Now imagine what would happen if 7 million of us on a daily basis went out there and changed one person's life. That's 7 million lives a day. Multiply that by 100 days.
We've reached
7 million times 100. That is 700 million.
We are not even up to that in Nigeria.
Wow. We are only 180 million people in Nigeria. Now, let 7 million of us, that's you, that one person, me, William, Simi, every day, just touch one life. Just do something that will transform one person's life. Go out there and ask someone that is selling plantain, that is selling chewing gum, that is selling whatever on the street, what do you need to go back to school? And there are schools that are free. Go to that school and make the arrangement. Ask someone, what kind of business do you want to do? I remember once, many years ago, that thing freaked me out. It freaked me out. You know, many years ago, you know, over 15 years ago, in fact, over 18 years ago, I was driving. And in Victoria Island, I saw a man that seemed like he was mad. And the Holy Spirit said to me, "Park, call him." I said, "This guy is not okay." And then I parked. Then I used to drive pencil Camry. You know, the Camry that they call pencil?
Yes, pencil.
That was what I was driving like 16, 17 years ago. And then I parked in Victoria Island at Aki Adeshola. And then I called the guy. I couldn't even fully wind down my glass. I wound down my glass halfway. And I started to talk to the Holy Spirit. I started talking to him. And I started to talk to him. As I started to talk to him, he started to become coherent. As he became coherent, you know, it seemed like he was becoming normal. Then I asked him, you know, what would you like to do? And the guy says, you know, if I give you money now, what would you like to do? You know, what kind of business would you like to start? And the guy says, you know, handkerchief. I'd like to sell handkerchiefs. And I counted maybe 3K or something, and I gave it to him, and I drove off. But the feeling that I got that day, almost, I can imagine the feelings that people like Jesus get when they heal someone, when they transform someone's life.
You can't explain it.
Now I drove off, and the guy started chasing me. And I looked back, I was afraid that, why is this guy chasing me? He was running after me and asking me, what's your name? What's your name? I need to know your name so that the day that I become something, I can give you credit for it. I didn't stop. I just kept on driving. Now, there was a feeling that I got, it was incredible, and that is the connection that this, show is making, reminding me, also that, what, you need to go out there on a daily basis and change that one person's life. In fact, let's make it change two people's lives. Take one person in your family. It can be extended, or someone around you. It can be your gate man. It can be your cook. It can be your nanny. Change the person's life. Find someone outside and change that person's life. Look, because this is what life is all about. On the day that you need help, God is going to send you help. Yeah. We're going to take a commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to open up the lines, because we need people to make commitments. Don't give us money. Don't bring money. Just go out there on a daily basis and start changing lives. And what we want you to do also is we want you to also challenge people that you know, to also find one person that they can change their lives. If you change someone's life and you tell someone you know to change someone's life, and that person that you know you've told to change someone's life, that person tells someone else to change someone's life, everything will change. And that's how change comes. That's how the fire of, and the revolution of transformation begins. A lot of people don't have. Trust me. Share that thing that you have. We'll take a music break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about what William is doing. He's going to be sharing 1,000 bags of rice. Yeah. And in each bag of rice, there's 64 small bags. So he's going to be feeding 64,000 people.
In one state.
In one state by himself. Look, one person can make a world of difference in the life of one person. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
If you would like to join the Give Challenge project, you can donate and or support the Williams Uchemba Foundation at www.williamsuchembafoundation.org. Alternatively, you can contact and donate using any of the information displayed on the screen.
There's a program that you're running. You want to give away rice. Tell us about it.
It's called the Give Challenge Tour, where I'll be going to 7 states, and the 64,000 is going to be in one state. So what I intend to do is to start with 1,000 bags, right? Inside one bag is about 64 bags. So when you times that by 1,000, it's 64,000, and that is just for rice. We can share other stuff, whatever it is, but we are trying as much as we can not just to feed them and they'll go hungry tomorrow. We also have a program where we will deal with extreme critical situations. There are people that if you don't give them attention now, they might not see tomorrow. I've seen a lot of people that all they needed was 15,000 naira to save their mom, but there was no 15,000 and the mom died. So we are going to we already have a system where we get those people out from these states and help them with fund, not just you making up a story, we actually seeing this thing and fixing it. Food is in one hand, then empowering people, then send as much kids as possible to school. I decided to start with Akwa Ibom State, being the first, because they have the whole the boys on the streets are a lot. I just picked up one here in Lagos. He sells plantain. So I was in America when I saw him lying on the streets. He had this plantain. He was just lying by the pavement, sleeping. And someone took that picture and said, somebody's child. And I saw him and my heart broke. And I reached out to the blog. I said, did you just take this picture? He said, yeah. I said, please, can you go back there and look for that boy? Then I posted it on my page. I said, this boy is around so and so place. Go and look for him. And eventually, one of my followers found him. And I found out he hasn't eaten for 3 days. That he's living with this woman that promised his own parents, the boy's parents, that she will send him to school. when they come to Lagos. But since he came to Lagos, she put him on the street, and he's been selling. His name is Joseph. He's now in school. So I took him and we cleaned him up, gave him food, and the next day I told him, what do you want? He said he wants to go back to Akwa Ibom. So I put him in a flight with one of my staff. And I said, take him home. And when he got home, he realized his younger sister was dead. His mother was in the hospital. He just broke down. All this is on my page because I made sure everything was recorded. Long and short of the story is that he's now in school. He's doing well, and he's really brilliant. The principal said when they gave him a test, in how many minutes he did very well. So we have our doctors on the street. We have our lawyers on the street. We have the heads of state of this country on the street. But because the opportunity is not being given to them, we change their destiny by allowing them to be criminals, by allowing them to be the problems we are having in this country. And it does not cost us anything to change these people's life. How much did I pay for that boy's school fees in Akwa Ibom? How much? This is money I spend for lunch. And if we can use that money, deprive ourselves some gratifications, and invest it in someone's future. You made a story about, what you did for somebody. When I was small, the governor of the state I grew up in Enugu State, he was passing. And you know how then they will give you flag when the governor is passing, then you'll be waving. So we are all begging for flag by the government officials. I was really small. They weren't seeing me because I was really tiny. And I was begging, Uncle, please give me flag. And they shared to all the bigger people around me. I didn't get. Then one of these government officials passed, took one flag and told one of his guys, give to that boy. Now we are like, what, 100? So we didn't know who he was talking about. Like, oh, is it me? Is it me? He said, no, that one. That one. I was about, what, 7? That one. And it was me. And he gave me that flag and he smiled. And you see, I'm telling that story now because I was like, why me? Why did this guy choose to give me a flag? Just a flag that I will probably use for a day and it's gone. Imagine if you pick someone randomly and change his life. He mustn't do anything good for you. Just bring him out and say, I don't know you, I don't get to know you, but you deserve a better future than this. Your life is going to change. And you change the person's life. Just like that man was chasing you to ask you your name. That person cannot be praying every day and not include your name. And these prayers are what protects you.
Wow. So this is what we're going to do. A lot of people need money. A lot of people need to make money. A lot of people need to understand how to make money. I wrote a book, the money book, the difference between the mindset of a rich man and a poor man. So I want to give 50 of those books out. Wow. But before I give 50 of those books out, right, what I want you to do is go out there and those books sell for 5,000 naira. Go out there and do an act of kindness worth 1,000, worth 2,000, worth 3,000, worth 4,000, worth 5,000. Video it and tag me, and then you will get that book. Look, that book has transformed other people's lives. That book, the money book, it will change your mindset from a poverty mentality to a wealth mentality. So I'm going to give 50 money books out this week.
Wow, that's amazing.
Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go change one person's life. Record the video. Please do not. The benefits of it will not come to you if it is a fraud. If you're not genuinely doing it, the benefits will not come to you. So please, you know what? You can defraud and get the book. It really doesn't matter. It's not about the book. It's about the content of the book transforming your life. And you being able to, when you finish consuming that book, give that book to somebody else. So those 50 books, when you finish reading them, you also give the books out. You also give the books out. You also give the books out. So we're going to start with 50. Now, another thing that I want to do is, if you are able to give 10,000 naira away, you transform someone's life with 10,000 naira, I will give you a free spa treatment in one of the top spas in Lekki. I'm going to give 10 spa treatments away for anyone that transforms someone's life with 10,000 and upwards. you know, I'm going to give you a special spa treatment, special massage, manicure, pedicure, whatever it is that you choose as, you know. And what you've got to do is you've got to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Lanre Olusola, LANRE OLUSOLA. Now, beyond that, I make a commitment that on a daily basis I find someone. You know, I'll make sure that I drive, I find someone, and I transform someone's life every day. You know, 1K can, 2K can, 3K can, 4K can, 5K can, 10K can. Why don't we go out there? Why don't we change lives and transform lives? So William, you were telling me a story of a boy that you know, you saw on the streets and you sent back to school. Just share that story with us so that we know the kinds of things that we can do.
Yeah.
What are the kind and beyond that? What are the kinds of things that, you know, people can do to change people's lives?
And this is why I'm doing this tour and around Nigeria. And one of the things I also said for the tour is, if you're from any of the states in visiting, you know, even if you bring 1 cube of Maggi, just for people there to benefit, it would be nice. Because this boy met me. I was coming out from a place and he met me. You know how you're trying to get into your car, you know, and he was like, please, help, give me money, you know, help. I want to. He just said, brother, please, you know. And I was curious. I was like, what's the problem? I can just give you this by 500, but what's the problem? He told me his story. It was really touching, really emotional. I said, okay, to be sure that you're saying the truth. So I gave him 5,000. I said, let me see you here tomorrow. This is my private number. Call me so that when you call, I pick my private number even if I don't know, because very few people have it. I said, so even if I will pick and I will know it's you. And he called me the next day. He came with his brother, and I said, take me to where you guys live. And I posted it on my Instagram, on Facebook, and they took me to this place. They used waterproof plywood to put together, and it was shocking because I asked them, the 5,000 I gave you still have it? He said no. I said why? He said this place was leaking, so they went and bought more waterproof. They just climbed in there in the night, and so I wanted to see their mom, and I saw their mom. Horrible case. The father is dead, you know, and all that. So they had. I sensed that they had 3 problems. Not just giving them money and say take care. They had accommodation problem. The boys needed to be back in school, and the woman needs money for her business. And I looked and I calculated it, and it was something I could do in my own capacity with my own money. And just yesterday I moved them into their new apartment. You know, they have a brand new apartment. I've paid for that place for 2 years, and I didn't just pay. So after 2 years they will start looking for how to pay. I gave the woman, you know, a reasonable amount of money to add to her business. She makes 1,500. I said, with the money I gave you, you can grow this business and be making, because where she is a good spot. It's just that what she sells is chewing gum and sweets. So she said, if she can expand this, that people pass. She likes that location. She said, people pass and people buy stuff, you know. So I told her, you can be making 15,000 now from the money I gave you every day. If you're bringing her 500 or 1,000 for your rent, saving it, you can comfortably be. So you see, I've empowered her. So it's not just paying for house rent for her. So the boys are starting school on the 10th, and of course they have a new house, so they are not going to be on the street again. He's not going to be begging again and all those things. So I want to take this not just, you know, around Lagos, but around Nigeria. I'm going to 2 states in the north, 2 states in the south, 2 states in the southeast and southwest. For now, you know, I intend to expand with time, but don't forget that this is just me, you know. So at this point is the point I'll need people that would support, people that would help, you know, whatever you can bring to. I want it to be more like a movement. We did it in December, just in Lagos, you know. But I believe if we can all come, imagine reaching out to 64,000 people in the States, and we do that again and again, and the resources are there. I mean,
people have it. People, yeah. I mean, I hear people, you know, in a night spend 15, 20 million naira on popping champagne.
You can imagine.
You know, on enjoying themselves. You know, nightclubs make hundreds of millions of naira a night, on a weekend. Look, there's more to life than consuming everything you have. There's more to life. The richest man, the wisest man in the world, King Solomon, the Bible says that he did not withhold any pleasure. Now, I want you to comprehend that statement, that King Solomon did not withhold any pleasure. Anything he thought about, he did.
True.
Now, the Bible says that it records that he had thousands of wives and hundreds of thousands of concubines. The Queen of Sheba, right? A queen that was wealthy and powerful in her own right, heard about King Solomon from her kingdom and sought after King Solomon. To tell you about King Solomon, by the time they calculated his wealth, it is over $1 trillion.
Yeah, nobody till now have.
Yeah, that's King Solomon. Over $1 trillion. Yeah. Now, kings used to come and pay him royalty. That is, he was a Don Daddy. He was a Capo de Tutti di Capioni. He was a king of boys. Now, King Solomon at the end of his life said that all is vanity. All the women, vanity. All the alcohol, vanity. All the sex, vanity. All the partying, vanity. All the food, vanity. All the dressing, vanity. Everything, because there was nothing that King Solomon didn't do. They described the way that King Solomon set his banquet, that is, when he wanted to eat. They described the kinds of things that King Solomon wore. They described the kind of gold that he controlled, silver, bronze. Now, King Solomon at the end of his life said that all these things, they are all vanity.
It's just in the wind.
They're chasing the wind. And I say to you today, you know what? Everything that you're chasing after, you're not going to go away with it when you die. All that you're going to leave behind is that life that you touched, is that legacy that you left behind. So what is it going to be?
Can I ask a question though as well? Sorry to play devil's advocate. So Femi Otedola, he has been in the news recently, and apparently a lot of people have been calling him out on Instagram, calling him stingy, so on and so forth. And if you read the comments under the articles, you have people torn on two sides. So one side believes that yes, he should and other people should give, but the other side is like, why are people constantly begging for money, and why do they feel sort of entitled to other people's wealth? So what is your perception on this?
Okay, first of all, because of the experiences I've had with that, I cannot, and I will also advise anybody that says that Femi Otedola is stingy to not say that, because just because you're not seeing it on social media doesn't mean he's not helping. I know and I believe that he's helping a lot of people. Okay, so that is one. Two, people will always talk whether you give or not give. Okay, sure, I was giving now. They said, why are you putting it on social media? Now, because Mr. Femi is not putting it up, they said, you're stingy. Now, you see that's the problem we have. So, if we can learn not to look at what people are not doing. Then secondly, the second question you asked is, why do people feel they're entitled? Jesus says the poor you will always have among you. The poor you will always have among you. He didn't call you the poor. He's telling you the poor. The poor you always. So that statement means there will always be poor people around you, right? And the reason why they are poor sometimes is because of their mindset. When they feel they are entitled. But this is what I do. Whether you deceive me to give you my money or not, it doesn't change the principle of giving. If you cheated me and I used my goodwill heart to give you money, and you say, look at him, you're only robbing yourself. Because you see, I've done my part, and what is going to come to me is going to come to me. So you're not going to change my mindset and say, because of what you did, I'm going to block myself off from that. The only problem is that you keep remaining in that position and all that. And there's just much you can do, and there's just little you can do. My DM is flooded with, please help me. But I can't help everybody. And this is what I do also. I try as much as I can to reach people that are not on Instagram. Now, I help people on Instagram, but you see, there is somebody somewhere that doesn't know what Instagram is.
Yeah.
He needs money to eat. You're talking
Doesn't have
Instagram.
phone.
He doesn't have. You talk about data. Those are the people I go into where we went to yesterday. Those boys, all of them don't have phone, and I'm going there this Monday to share food. Just get like few bags of rice, share to them. Now, these are the same boys that they will warn you, don't enter there because it's dangerous. But when they saw what I was doing, those same area boys that are supposed to rob me and steal from me, they are now protecting me. Because if you begin to do the right thing, even the people that say they are your enemy will start fighting for you. That is the mystery of this thing. So, the poor you always have among you, and secondly, people will always feel, that after all you've made it. And it hurts them because they don't know how you made it. This thing we've been trying to do for years, you just come out from nowhere and you're looking all fly and looking all good. So it's sometimes you have to see it from their own end. It's painful for them, and that is to keep myself safe.
Same.
Yes.
Yeah, and for you not to stop being good.
Exactly.
Now this is so powerful. The scripture that you quoted, the poor you'd always have amongst you. I always say to people, and I want all Christians and all religious people to listen to me. Stop giving that money to church. Stop giving that money to church. That money that you are giving in church, give it and change somebody's life directly. Because the Bible says that true religion is to visit the sick in the hospital, is to clothe the poor that have no clothes, is to feed them. That is what God recognizes as true religion. So take that money and you directly in your own sphere of influence. There's a reason why the poor that are around you are around you. Look, he says that at the end when he comes back, he will say to you, I was sick and you did not give me medicine. He did not say that, I asked you to give me offering in church and you didn't. He says, I was sick and you did not give me medicine. I had no clothes to wear and you did not clothe me. I was hungry and you did not feed me. And they asked him, when were you sick? When didn't you have clothes? When were you hungry? He said, for as long as you do not do it for the least of these ones, then you did not do it for me. For I will come like a thief in the night. Let me ask you a question. What if that guy selling plantain on the road is Jesus coming back? And that act of kindness is what will get you to make heaven. What if? Because he says, I'm going to come like a thief in the night. And I'm going to come like a poor person that is hungry, that is sick, that has no clothes to wear.
Yeah. Let me just, this is from my own perspective, because of how desperate people are in Nigeria, especially, they have been so enslaved to the mindset of religion, where you are not now sensitive to know what the real thing is, right? And this is what I would say. The church is a beautiful place. The church is where we go to get inspiration. We go to get, elevate our spirits and all that. But a lot of the bad ones have abused this thing and milk people of, what. But I always say to people, if you go to buy a charger on the street, they have fake one and they have real one. One. Me for one pay my tithe, right? I give offering to the church. I do all that, but I don't do that to the expense of other people's stuff. So what I do is I have 100,000, for example, to give out. Okay, I can say, okay, my tithe is 10%. I'll bring out, because you see, it is the little from that tithe that they will use to make the whole place beautiful for you to stay and all that. And I can bring out some money as well because some of these men of God don't have any other job they do. I don't want to go into that. So they are like what do you call it? The shepherd. The shepherd only takes care of the sheep. It's not like they work in this bank and they have, I've been with these genuine people and I see what. So sometimes it's not like he's telling me, Williams, give me money. But I want to appreciate you. You said some things that impacted my life. I just want to appreciate you for this. He's not coming to ask me, bring money or you die. Anybody that says that to you in a church, that church is fake. Anybody that says, if you don't give this church body, something bad will happen to you. Williams Uchemba is my name, and tell that pastor that he's lying, because there is nothing like that in the Bible. If your spirit, in fact, whenever you're about to give and you're giving grumbly and you're giving because you were forced to and you're not happy giving, you just wasted your body, because nothing is going to come back to you. It has to come from within. So I try to balance that to say, in as much as there are a lot of fake people there, it still doesn't change. Also, don't forget that Jesus also mentioned that so a woman gave her widow's mite, and some people that had a lot gave little. So there is that role of giving to the church. But as well, you also have to pay a lot of attention to people on the streets, because there could be the Jesus you're seeing. And God will never come down from heaven to bless anybody.
Most definitely.
The Jesus people are praying for is you. That man on your street, he said, God bless me. You are the person. So what God does is God now puts money in your pocket and says, bless that guy.
But meanwhile, you withhold that money.
When you withhold that money, you're also shortchanging yourself as well.
Wow. So in wrapping up, what's your social media handle?
My name, Williams Uchemba. Williams, Uchemba. Yeah.
On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Yes, the same thing.
Fantastic. And remember what I said. You go out there, you do an act of kindness from between 1,000 to 5,000 naira. You know, you stand a chance to get my money book that will transform your mindset to a mindset of wealth and, riches. Now, what I need you to do with that book is, once you have finished reading it, consume the content. I want you to give somebody else. So I'm going to be giving out 50 of those books. If you transform someone's life for between 1,000 to 5,000 naira, and then record it and tag me in it on my social media at Lanre Olusola, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you transform someone's life with 10,000 naira upwards, you will get a free spa treatment. You'll be treated like a king and a queen. You'll be
You're making me want to be part of these people that will get.
so everybody can stand a chance to do that. Just do an act of kindness worth 10,000 and above, and then you will get a spa treatment at Venevici Spa on Admiralty Way, Lekki. And that kind of massage, your life would never be the same again. I'm telling you, we're talking about giving for living, and we're talking about this from the perspective of the fact that this is who you are, this is who God has created you to be, and God has placed so many people around you that He requires you to transform their lives. For some people, it is accommodation. For some people, it is hospital. For some people, it is clothing. For some people, it is feeding. Whatever it is, you know what? It will not make a major difference in your life, because that money, you can use it to drink, you can use it to eat, you can use it to buy a pair of shoes, you can use it to buy one additional bag after you've bought 30, 40, 50. Why don't we go out there, take your clothes, the clothes that you're no longer wearing, and find someone and give to them on the streets. Those bags that you're no longer using, find someone and give to them. Those shoes that you're no longer wearing, just pack them and go give to people. The food that is in your store, do that. Rice, beans, let's start giving, because giving is living. What's the last word that you have for our viewers?
I think you pretty much said it all. Let's, if you haven't tried it before, I think what you should start is having a paradigm shift. Do unto others what you want them to do to you. So if you don't want to be stranded somewhere begging for money, when you see someone that is in that same position, get that person out of that situation. And don't ever think that you don't have, because you see, where you call my bad place is someone's paradise. When you say, oh, this place I'm in now, if only I can get another car. Someone somewhere is saying, I don't even want a car. I just want a bicycle to take me from point A to point B. If you think your case is worse, come, let me take you to a place called Makoko, where people live on top of a swamp. People, they defecate there and they sleep there. If you think your life is bad, come, let me show you a cripple that doesn't have 2 legs, but sells handkerchief and goes around the street trying to make a living and make 50 naira, if you think your life is difficult, come, let me show you a blind man that doesn't know where his next meal is going to come from. No family, nothing whatsoever. So for the fact that you have breath in you, it means that there is still a brighter life, there is still a brighter future. And for you to benefit from that brighter life and future, try as much as you can to help other people live.
Oh, powerful. You know, show gratitude. Show that you are thankful for breath and life, for where God has put you and for what God has blessed you with. Use generosity and giving as your means of showing gratitude and thanksgiving. On that note, we'll call it a wrap. Thank you, William.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lanre and Mr. Williams. In case you did miss it, or in case you're just tuning in, don't forget, Be All You Can Be will be back next week, Saturday at 9:30. So make sure you set your alarm and make sure you tune in then. We're going back to the music, and we have Nicki Minaj featuring The Weeknd coming up next with Thought I Knew You. Keep it locked on the Beat 99.9 FM.